Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Awesome.
Ah,
This time, we're setting sail with the Odyssey, but we're going beyond just the story itself,
right.
looking at what it tells us about storytelling, and honestly, about ourselves, even after all these centuries.
It really is amazing. I mean, think about it. Homer, working in the oral tradition,
Yeah.
created this narrative structure,
Yeah.
flashbacks, divine intervention,
Yeah.
nonlinear timeline. This wasn't standard stuff back then.
It blows my mind. It's like he wrote the rule book on how to keep people on the edge of their seats.
He really did.
But the Odyssey, I mean, it's not just some technical masterpiece.
No.
One of the things that really gets me is how he deals with hospitality or,
Mm.
well, actually the lack of it
Oh, interesting.
and the consequences that come from violating that whole code.
Absolutely.
It's fascinating.
The idea of xenia,
Yeah.
that sacred duty to host strangers,
Right.
that was central to ancient Greek society. And we see it play out, how Odysseus both benefits from it, but then also suffers when that code is ignored.
Yeah, it really makes you think, like, are there echoes of that today in the modern world?
Mm-hmm.
How we treat people who are different, who come from outside our usual circles.
That's a really insightful point. You think about the suitors, right?
Oh, yeah.
Vying for Penelope's hand while Odysseus is away.
Oh, the worst.
The antithesis of good guests.
Totally.
Devouring resources, plotting to take over. And their lack of respect, ultimately, well, it seals their fate.
It really does. And it's interesting because Odysseus, for all his cunning,
Yeah.
he's not always the best guest either.
True.
Like, remember when he blinds Polyphemus?
Oh, yeah.
Part of me is like, co-Odysseus, cheering for the cleverness.
Yeah.
But then there's this other part that's just like, whoa, dude, overreaction much.
Right. That's where the poem's complexity really shines through.
Totally.
Because Odysseus, he embodies both the best and worst of human nature.
Yes.
His triumph over the Cyclops, it shows his intellect.
It really does.
But it also unleashes Poseidon's wrath, which adds, like years to his journey?
It's like that saying, revenge is a dish best served cold.
Right.
But in this case, it leaves everyone with a bad taste in their mouth.
Yeah.
So we have this hero, brilliant, impulsive, trying to navigate a world with these strict social codes.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds kind of familiar, right?
It really does. It's amazing how those ancient dilemmas still resonate with us today.
I know.
I mean, think about it. The pressure to achieve,
Oh, yeah.
the temptations we all face,
Right.
that struggle to balance ambition and personal life. Is Odysseus's quest for Ithaca really that different from, say, our own pursuit of, professional fulfillment or even inner peace?
Wow. That is such an interesting parallel. It's like
Mhm.
Odysseus's journey is this metaphor for work-life balance that
Yeah.
we're all trying to figure out. And I mean, is Ithaca like a symbol of that perfect endpoint?
Yeah.
Or is it more about the journey itself?
That's the question, isn't it? And then there's the whole other question of whether Odysseus even wants to go back to Ithaca.
What do you mean?
I mean, he's clearly drawn to adventure, to testing his limits.
That's true.
Could all these delays, could that be like subconscious resistance?
Oh, interesting.
Baby.
Like he's afraid of what's waiting for him back home.
It's possible.
Responsibilities,
Yeah.
settling down.
Exactly.
It's almost like those sirens, they weren't just literal monsters.
Right.
They were like symbolic of all of the distractions that tempt us to stray from our goals,
Mm-hmm.
or even the fears that hold us back.
Exactly. And that's where the poem's psychological depth comes in.
Yeah,
It's not just about his physical journey, it's about his internal struggles too.
totally. And speaking of struggles, let's talk about some of the key players in Odysseus' journey.
Okay.
I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they had this fun trivia about the Odyssey. I thought it'd be fun to, like weave it in here.
Yeah, that's a great idea. A good way to kind of anchor some of these broader themes.
Okay, so first up, who was Odysseus's like ever faithful wife? The one who held down the fort, so to speak, for all those years.
Penelope.
Penelope.
Yeah. Her story is just as compelling as Odysseus's, I think.
I agree.
She embodies resilience, intelligence, loyalty, and in a way that challenges those classic gender roles you often see with women in ancient literature.
That's so true. And she's clever, too.
Yeah.
Weaving that shroud, putting off the suitors, always one step ahead.
Absolutely.
It's like she's playing her own strategic game,
Right.
while Odysseus is off fighting monsters.
Exactly. Her cunning, it echoes Odysseus's own. It's like a reminder that intelligence and resourcefulness, they're not limited by gender.
It really is. And speaking of intelligence, who was that blind prophet Odysseus goes to see in the underworld?
Oh, Tiresias.
Tiresias, the one with all the prophecies.
Yeah, he's the voice of fate, representing those forces beyond our control, even for a hero like Odysseus.
And his prophecies, they're not exactly cheerful, are they?
No.
It's like Odysseus is being told, hey, you're going to make it home, but it's going to be a mess.
Yeah.
And there will be consequences.
It's a reminder that even in victory, there can be loss.
Yeah.
And it really underscores that idea that actions have ripple effects.
Yeah.
Even for someone who's, favored by the gods.
It's true. And that brings us to, I think, probably the most infamous encounter in the Odyssey. Odysseus and the Cyclops.
Yeah.
You know, the one with the eye gouging?
Yeah.
And the whole sheep disguise thing?
Oh, that's a good one.
Who was that memorable monster again?
Polyphemus, the son of Poseidon.
Polyphemus.
Yeah, and it's a prime example of how Odysseus's cleverness can backfire. He outsmarts the Cyclops, yeah. But by revealing his name,
All right.
he sets off this whole chain of events that almost destroys him.
It's true.
Classic case of pride.
Yeah.
Before the fall.
Yeah, it's like this moment of triumph.
Right.
Turns into this cautionary tale.
It does.
And it makes you think, like, what are we willing to risk?
Yeah.
For our reputation, for our ego.
Exactly. Odysseus could have just sailed away.
Right.
No one the wiser.
Totally.
But his ego, that need to be like, I'm Odysseus, you know who I am,
Yeah.
leads to so many problems.
So many. And what about Penelope?
Right.
And Telemachus?
Yeah.
Back in Ithaca.
Yeah.
They're dealing with the fallout from his actions.
Exactly. It's like this ripple effect.
Yeah.
Our choices impact not just us, but the people we love.
Absolutely. And it's fascinating how this ancient text with gods and monsters can still feel so relevant.
It's true.
We might not be facing literal Cyclops, but we all have our own metaphorical monsters to deal with.
Absolutely. Think about just the pressures of modern life.
Oh, I know.
The information overload, the need to be on all the time, the fear of missing out. These can be just as daunting as any mythical creature.
That's true. Like our own personal sirens.
Right.
Calling out to us.
Promising that instant gratification.
Yeah.
Pulling us away from what matters.
And our own versions of Scylla and Charybdis, right?
Oh, yeah. Those impossible choices.
I know.
That tightrope walk between work and family,
Right.
ambition and contentment.
Yeah. It makes Odysseus's journey feel, well, kind of relatable.
I know.
He's constantly being tested.
Yeah.
Forced to make these tough choices with, like, no good information.
Right.
Just like us, every day.
Exactly. And sometimes it's not even about making the right choice.
Yeah.
It's about understanding every choice has consequences.
It does.
And sometimes just surviving those consequences.
Right.
And moving forward.
That resilience, that ability to keep going when things are rough.
Yeah.
That's what gets me.
It's a powerful message, for sure.
It is.
Hope, perseverance, reminds us that even when we're lost,
Yeah.
when the journey feels endless, there's always the possibility of finding our way back.
And that way back, I mean, it doesn't have to be a literal place.
No, not at all.
It could be a state of mind,
Exactly.
sense of belonging, reconciliation with ourselves or with people we've hurt.
That's beautifully put. It really is a journey of self-discovery.
It is.
Understanding his strengths, weaknesses, confronting the past, and ultimately coming to terms with who he is.
And in that way, I mean, it's a journey we can all connect with.
Absolutely.
Regardless of our own, individual circumstances.
We're all on our own paths.
Yeah.
Trying to navigate life, searching for meaning, connection.
It's true. The Odyssey, it gives us this framework for understanding those journeys.
It does.
For seeing the challenges, the triumphs, the step backs, the breakthroughs.
Yeah.
As part of being human.
Exactly.
It's amazing how this story from like thousands of years ago can still speak to us.
It really is.
It makes you wonder, though, what would Odysseus's journey look like?
Oh, interesting.
If it was set today?
That is a fascinating question. Imagine him navigating like the digital world.
Oh, wow.
Battling like online trolls instead of mythical beasts,
Yeah.
facing the temptations of instant gratification,
Right.
information overload.
It's like instead of sailing across the Mediterranean,
Yeah.
he's going through the vastness of the internet,
Right.
trying to find his way back to authenticity
Yeah.
in this world of curated personas.
And instead of sirens, he's dealing with the allure of social media.
Oh, yeah.
That pressure to present this perfect image.
I am.
The fear of missing out.
It's like the challenges, they've changed.
They have.
But those core human struggles,
Mm-hmm.
they stay the same.
Exactly. That need for connection,
Yeah.
desire for purpose, the battle between our better selves and our lesser selves.
It's true. And looking at Odysseus's journey through this modern lens,
Yeah.
maybe it can help us understand our own challenges
It's possible.
and find better ways to deal with them.
Exactly. It's like the Odyssey is this timeless mirror,
Yeah.
reflecting not just the human condition, but the specific anxieties,
Right.
aspirations of each era.
So true. And as we keep digging into the Odyssey,
Yeah.
we're not just, uncovering Odysseus' story.
Right.
We're finding all these layers of meaning that connect to our own lives.
Our own quests for meaning and belonging.
Exactly. And speaking of those deeper layers,
Yeah.
I'm curious about this whole idea of home in the Odyssey.
Oh, interesting.
It's a driving force for Odysseus.
It is.
But is it just about the physical place,
Yeah.
or is there something more to it?
That is a question the poem really grapples with.
It does.
Ithaca. It's not just a place on a map.
Right.
It's the symbol of belonging,
Mm-hmm.
identity, everything Odysseus is fighting to return to.
But at the same time, he seems hesitant to actually get there.
Right.
He lingers on Calypso's island.
Yeah.
He gets sidetracked by all these adventures,
Mm-hmm.
almost like he's afraid of what's waiting for him.
That tension is really fascinating.
It is.
It suggests that home, it can be both comforting
Yeah.
and anxiety-inducing.
Yeah.
It's where we're known,
Right.
where we have responsibilities, where we have to face our past.
And for Odysseus, maybe it means the end of his adventures,
It could.
settling into this routine.
Yeah.
That might feel stifling
Mm-hmm.
after years of freedom.
It's like that classic dilemma, the
Yeah.
wanderer versus the settler.
And Odysseus, he embodies both.
He does.
That longing for exploration,
Mm-hmm.
but also that yearning for stability.
Right, and that tension, that
Yeah.
push and pull.
I think a lot of people can relate to that,
I agree.
even if they haven't literally faced, sea monsters and angry gods.
It's a universal experience.
It is.
That desire for novelty, for familiarity,
Right.
for adventure, but also for security.
And the Odyssey, it explores that in such a timeless way.
It does.
It still feels so relevant.
Absolutely. So as we continue to unpack this,
Yeah.
it's worth thinking about. What does Ithaca represent for us?
It's a good question.
Is it a place, a state of mind,
Yeah.
a relationship?
Right.
And what are the obstacles,
Yeah.
the internal and external ones
Right.
that we face on that journey?
Yeah, it really is a powerful idea. Each of us with our own Ithaca,
It is.
our own version of home.
Yeah, and it makes you think about Odysseus's journey
Right.
in such a personal way.
Totally.
It's not just an adventure story, you know?
No, it's not.
It's like a reflection of our own desires,
Exactly.
struggle. And just like Odysseus faced those temptations and trials,
Yeah.
we face obstacles too on our own paths to finding that sense of home.
Absolutely. And those obstacles.
Right.
I mean, they might not be literal monsters,
True.
but they can be just as tough.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So what are they?
What are those modern day monsters?
Yeah. What are the sirens and the cyclops of today?
Well, for one, I think there's technology,
Oh, yeah.
that constant distraction,
Uh-huh.
social media streaming services, the 24/7 news cycle,
Right.
all competing for our attention,
Yeah.
pulling us away from our goals, our relationships.
So like those sirens, right?
That kind of
Promising instant gratification.
endless entertainment,
Yeah.
luring us off course.
And then there's the pressure to succeed.
Oh, yeah.
That constant comparison to others,
Uh-huh.
feeling like you're never doing enough.
That is definitely a modern day monster.
It is.
So draining.
It really is.
Can lead to burnout, a sense of emptiness.
Yeah, even when you achieve what you thought you wanted.
Right, exactly.
It makes you think, would Odysseus have resisted those temptations
Interesting question.
if he had a smartphone, and
exactly.
social media?
Would he have stayed focused on getting back to Ithaca?
That's a good question.
Fun to think about.
I think maybe he would have been tempted to document everything,
Oh, yeah.
share all his adventures with the world,
Uh-huh.
looking for validation through likes and followers.
Maybe he would have gotten lost in online arguments.
Oh, totally.
Or the endless scroll of a news feed.
Yeah, or maybe he
he
would have used those tools to his advantage.
Yeah.
You know, connect with other people
Right.
on their own journeys.
People going through the same things.
Yeah, find support and inspiration.
That's a more optimistic take.
It is.
But it shows those modern monsters.
Yeah.
They can be a double-edged sword.
Right. They can distract us,
Mm-hmm.
but they can also connect us, inform us.
Motivate us, even.
It really comes down to how we use them.
It does.
Just like Odysseus had to learn to control his impulses,
Right.
navigate the dangers.
The pitfalls.
We have to figure out how to manage technology
Yeah.
and the pressure of modern life.
Find that balance.
It's not about rejecting technology completely.
No.
It's about finding that middle ground,
Right.
making sure that it serves us.
Exactly.
It's not the other way around.
And that's a challenge Odysseus faced, too.
Yeah.
Even without all the modern stuff.
He had to choose between Calypso's island
Right.
and going home.
The comfort of the present.
Right.
The unknown future.
It's a dilemma we all face,
It is.
maybe in different ways.
Yeah. Whether it's choosing a career,
Yeah.
starting a relationship.
We're just figuring out how to spend your time.
Absolutely.
We're always weighing options
trying to find that path.
to our own Ithaca.
Exactly. And just like Odysseus's journey,
Yeah.
full of twists and turns, setbacks, triumphs,
Right.
our journeys will have those too.
They will.
Unexpected challenges and rewards.
Absolutely. The key is to keep going.
Keep moving forward.
To learn from everything.
And never lose sight of what matters.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the Odyssey,
Yeah.
I think what sticks with me is that it's more than just an adventure story.
It's
It's a story about all of us,
about the human experience.
about the challenges we all face
The choices we make.
as we journey through life.
It's a reminder that no matter how different our lives are from Odysseus's,
Yeah,
we share those same basic desires.
we do.
That need for connection.
For purpose,
Yeah.
a place to call home.
And even when things are tough,
Yeah.
even when we feel lost, there's always hope
There's always that chance of finding our way back.
to where we belong.
Maybe that's the real message of the Odyssey,
What do you mean?
that it's the journey that shapes us.
Yeah.
The challenges we overcome.
That make us stronger
And even the toughest journeys
Yeah.
can lead us home.
in whatever form that takes.
Exactly.